in the last few hours since we've been out here, it has really started to pick up. People are already showed up. All the vendors are completely set up, and now it's just time to get going. And we are going on all day, right until 5 o'clock. Let me take you on a little tour here. We've got a lot going on. So let's start over here. We've got arts and crafts, homemade goods, all kinds of amazing stuff. Let's take you on a little pan over here. And almost everyone here is local. So everything you see, all these local arts and crafts, all these vendors are local. It's just an unbelievable day. You could come in, go through all the 150 vendors that are out here and just enjoy yourself. It's an absolutely perfect day to do that. It's not too hot. It's a fantastic day. But I want to bring you over to my favorite section, which is, of course, the food. I enjoy the food, and this is just fantastic. Obviously, it's the Shrimp Fest. It's called the Shrimp Fest, but there is all kinds of food to eat out here. Everything from every kind of shrimp imaginable. You've also got seafood and everything else. Let's bring you over here first, because I want to talk to you about one event that we have going on today. It is called it's the Shrimp Challenge, in a sense. What's the actual full name for it? I want to bring you out over here. We've got lots of people here, but tell me what this is called.
Well, this is the Little River Shrimp Festival Shrimp and Grits Challenge, and we are Dirty Dick's Crab House. We're a proud part of this year's festival, the 9th year, and we want to thank the Little River Chamber of Commerce and the Community Bank for sponsoring this event. And Dirty Dick's Crab House is extremely excited to be a part of it. We got a great booth. Come check our food out. Shrimp and Grits Challenge, 12 o'clock on stage 2, right, Tracy? Come see us.
Perfect. One more quick thing. We have got the hot dog lady out here. We've got not just seafood, of course, but hot dogs. Tell me, what are we looking at here? What kind of hot dog is this?
Gourmet Nathan's Hot Dog from Pig Crazy Catering. Our business is right down the street, right here on Mineola Avenue. Please come by and join, and thanks for everyone coming out.
Guys, it's an absolutely fantastic day. You can't ask for a more beautiful day, and really turnout, it's still so early, but turnout is just fantastic. Well, Allison, let me tell you, in the last 4 days covering this, these roads are getting progressively worse, a lot more dangerous to drive on. This is actually where the first home was burglarized. If you take a look right over here, this is where police say the second home was broken into. More and more people are starting to show up, and that freeze warning, like Maddie was mentioning, has been lifted, so it's a little less cold out here for all these people. And let me tell you, since we last spoke about an hour ago, tons more people are starting to show up, lots more people getting excited. And again, that start line is right over my shoulder, right there, and that's where more than 2,000 people are going to walk for this cause. And let me bring in survivor Chuck Hawley. And Chuck, now tell me, you were telling me before we were live here, talk to me a little bit about your story.
Well, I've had 19 heart attacks, and I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the American Heart Association and all the research they do. So we're out here for a great cause.
Chuck, you were telling me at one point you had one heart attack that it was very, very serious.
Yes, sir. I actually died on the table. They had to defibrillate me 17 times. And I even have a built-in defibrillator now. So, it's their knowledge that's why I'm here today.
To see, Chuck, for you to see, I mean, you've done this a number of years now, but to be able to see so many people coming out and already get this many people organizing, this many people coming together for a cause that hits so close to home for you, what's that like?
It's amazing to me, especially the people that are out here just to support us that have not had any heart issues. That's even more amazing to me.
It's been devastating being out here this afternoon. Earlier this afternoon, I spoke with one of the families as they were finding out more details, and it was just, as you can imagine, they were visibly upset. That's right, Tim. And in some areas like this, you can already see the water completely going over the entire roadway, making it that much more difficult, like you said, to drive through. And a lot of that is just pooling right here into yards and driveways. Cordy, it is going so well. The race is really, it has started. It's been going on for the last 5 minutes. Take a listen to this. Look at all this color. Look at all these people just having a blast. And this is really just the beginning. We're really just starting to see people. They're going to go through this chute. Oh my goodness, this is just amazing. I have never seen so many people so excited to do a race before. And what they're going to do is they're actually going to go right on through this start chute right here. We're at Broadway at the beach. They're going to go right on through that start chute. They're going to go all the way down. There's hundreds of them that are going to go all the way down, and they're basically going to do a course that kind of goes around Broadway at the beach, and then they're going to finish off right on this side. So they're going to finish off right back here on this side, if you can get a little bit of an idea through this cloud of blue smoke here, how much fun they're going to have. It's a 3-mile run. It's getting ready to take off. They're all slowly making their way down. Take a look at that crowd. This is just full of excitement. Take a look at all these people.
Eli says the stormwater and flooding in this area has gotten so bad in the past that he's actually had to use sandbags like this one just to protect his business.
It hit a telephone pole, flipped several times in the air, crashed, and then landed in the embankment along the side of the road. We're kind of in the heat of the moment now. A lot of those runners for the 4th annual Myrtle Beach Mini Marathon, they're just starting to come through the finish line. Let me step out of the shot so you can actually see all these runners coming through.
Gail tells me no matter what, she's never giving up hope on finding her daughter.
Tim, that's right. A lot of these roads have become much more difficult to drive through. This road right here, it's gained about 4 inches of water in the last 24 hours. And other roads I've checked out around here, some of them are impossible to drive. Now, not only are family and friends in shock, but neighbors I spoke with are shaken up too. Neighbors like Sheila Kelly. We went to the VSO local office in Pawleys Island, but as it turns out, they had already closed. Courtney, good morning. It is going so well so far. And let me tell you, it's still a little bit chilly out here, but already people are really starting to show up, organizers and racers, and this is still 2 hours before the actual race starts, so it's really impressive. Take a look behind me. That's where there's going to be music playing, and this is kind of where the finish line is going to be.
Moving forward without ever forgetting her home at Windsor Green. That fire taking everything but this tile, which stayed strong like the woman who walked on it every day.
We're going to have a whole lot more for you guys coming up at 9 o'clock. Let me remind you again, you can still register for this thing. It is happening at 9, but you can still show up. You can still register basically right up until race start. We're at Broadway at the beach to remind you. It's going to be a fantastic run. And girls, let me hear, what are you guys going to be, let me hear the noise you guys are going to be making out on the course today. Yeah! Now, as of this morning, forecasters say the Waccamaw River is 1 foot and 2 inches higher than flood levels of 11 feet.
Mark, I understand firefighters made every effort to preserve the building.
Tim, they did amid so much destruction. It's incredible to know that this building still stands, a building that holds so much significance for the residents of Georgetown. As firefighters battled through the early morning flames Wednesday, there were signs of hope. While 7 Front Street buildings burned, the South Carolina Maritime Museum still stands.
They fought. I mean, we had every pumper and every hose available pouring water on that on both ends to stop it.
Georgetown Mayor Jack Scoville says the museum had some smoke and water damage on the 2nd floor, but we're told the museum's sprinkler system worked to protect most of its structure and contents, and firefighters did everything they could too.
A lot of the firefighters did a phenomenal job trying to take out some of the artifacts, and I think we've housed those at the river room, and so they did a really good job. It was something they didn't have to do in the line of duty to remove as many of those artifacts as they could.
Artifacts like photographs and large model ships depicting the area's maritime past. Artifacts that Georgetown County Chamber of Commerce CEO Brian Tucker says are a tribute to the character and culture of Georgetown.
The city of Georgetown is roughly 300 years old. It has a tremendous spirit, a tremendous culture and work ethic. And the Maritime Museum captures that.
On Front Street today there is despair and loss, but there is also relief. An historic treasure will remain to teach future generations of the city's maritime foundation.
Emotionally, folks that live in Georgetown or folks that have ever been to Georgetown, they consider this one of their children. And it really has that strong of an emotional attachment.
Still so soon, there's already talk of rebuilding. As for the annual Wooden Boat Show, that's just a month away. They say that will still go on. Live in Georgetown, Marc Liverman, WPDE, News Channel 15.
And then the next thing I know, everything in the backyard just went to the right of the house.
John Vandelander was at his friend's house in the Amberfield subdivision in Saukesty Saturday when he says he saw one of the 2 tornadoes that touched down in Horry County.
It just come across the lake from the left to the right,
throwing around debris and staying on the ground nearly 45 seconds. That's according to a National Weather Service team. They were here Sunday to conduct a survey to determine the tornado's size and estimate wind speeds.
Sometimes you see the pictures, you can't tell if it's actually touching the ground or not, and we need to see what actually happened from the rotation of the storm.
They evaluated both Cameron Village and Amberfield, talking with residents and taking pictures of damage.
Your neighbor said about 4:20, 4:30 when it blew through?
Yeah.
Science and Operations Officer Reed Hawkins says part of their evaluation also comes from those who saw it firsthand.
We actually have people who are monitoring that, or a person monitoring the social media to help us to get the latest information.
Now, although no one was injured in this tornado, Hawkins does say people could have been injured by debris like this flying around.
So that's the point where you have to make sure that you get inside or low as you can and get as many walls between you and the outside.
And do everything you can to shield yourself from any windows. As for Vandalinder, he says he's just thankful Saturday's tornado didn't last long. In Horry County, Marc Liverman, WPDE, News Channel 15. Some homeowners in the Wood Creek subdivision are still in shock after this plane crashed right next to their homes Saturday afternoon, leaving the 3 on board dead.
Total chaos with people, right? And everyone was just like just so in sorrow that some people were really in tears.
My wife was in the garage and ran into the house and said, "Call 911." And I was already headed to the door because my kids were playing next door at the house where the crash occurred.
The Beechcraft Baron crashed right next to Aaron Burge's front lawn, what some describe as a chaotic scene of large flames and smoke.
Power lines were sparking and sending out the blue, transformer pops and things, and those were kind of coming in our direction.
Burge says he feared the fire was going to spread to his house.
The fuel was running down along the curb on fire about 4 to 5 feet high.
But within minutes, firefighters contained the fire. Sunday, investigators here try to find out what led to the crash.
We plan to remove the aircraft possibly this afternoon, depending on how much we get done today.
National Transportation Safety Board investigator Jay Nealon says the aircraft will be moved to a salvageable facility where the investigation will continue. Now, NTSB officials say there wasn't a black box inside the plane, but they do have other ways of figuring out exactly what went wrong.
We were able to retrieve a GPS and an iPad that will be going back to D.C. for examination.
We're all thankful that none of our own family members were hurt, but 3 people died, and that's definitely in the forefront of our minds.
As all involved try to make sense of the crash, they're still wondering how this happened. But those answers from federal officials could take up to a year. In Conway, Marc Liverman, WPDE, News Channel 15.